On this episode of Fake One, Dr. Seuss, a crazy domino effect, and an interview with the #1 toddler expert.
Also, Winnie the Pooh Legos, how to fail a class and have fun doing it, and the new Bronco bar. These stories and more up next on Fake One.
Welcome to Take One.
Welcome to Fake One. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mei Zhen.
And I'm Rylan Dawson.
Do you remember being tongue-tied while trying to read a simple-looking Dr. Seuss book? Don't you wish you could relive the trauma again? Well, your wait has come to an end. You may just want to hop on this interesting trend. Dr. Seuss is hitting the road with an interactive traveling exhibit that's a sight to behold. From Fafuna Laguna babunas to truffula trees, there's so many things you might possibly see. The first exhibit features the Cat in the Hat. Everything is interactive. You can even give him a pat. The next exhibit is Lorax themed. It has more colorful trees than you could ever dream. Guests of all sizes snap Instagram photos galore, but that's not the end. No, sir, there's so much more. At the Circus McGurkus, you can fly through the air as you spin around in a magical swinging chair. Wander your way through the balloon maze of the places you'll go, or meet Sneetches in the glass maze, all lined up in a row. Or maybe even help Herbie Hart with his thromdimbulator. I mean, honestly, can you think of anything that would be greater? You'll find creatures like Horton and Carlos K. Crinklebine, the Grinch and the Who's, and perhaps a porcupine. Come join the fun, and maybe you'll see that your childlike imagination can finally be set free. Get the tickets online while you can, or maybe you'll be the one eating green eggs and ham.
Well, it's that time of the semester again where we're all stressing and cramming at the last minute to get our grades where we need them to be. But sometimes all that stressing and cramming just isn't enough. What about that class that no matter what you do, you know you're going to still fail anyway? I mean, if you're going to fail, why not have some fun doing it? Instead of waking up at the crack of dawn to get that last minute of studying in before your exam, go ahead and snooze your alarm 5 or 6 times. You'd only need like 10 minutes to get to your exam anyway. And while you're at it, bring a pillow to exam. Why don't you fall asleep until the last, 15 minutes or so, then wake up and say, oh geez, better get cracking, just to make it look like you tried. But if you're one of those people who can't fall asleep around other people, then why not try to get out of the exam as soon as possible? Instead of leaving answers blank, you could just write, I refuse to answer this question on the grounds of having a medical exemption, just to make it look like you tried. If your exam is online, definitely watch your latest Netflix binge while taking it. Maybe even pop some popcorn too. Nothing like a good old Netflix and fail, you know what I mean? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're not going to look back in 40 years and tell your kids, I'm so glad I woke up at 5 a.m. every day just to study quantum physics. Just take a breather sometimes. Life can be funny, so why not laugh at it? Who says that your life comes down to a few letters and numbers on a transcript? Now, all you 317 and practicum students, get your pens and paper out. Mei Zhen reminds us of the things we learned but may have forgotten since 117.
Has Professor Snyder ever told you, don't do this, don't touch that, or can you see my hands? How about May? Make sure to put a super source between the 2 studios in the rundown. I'm Mei Zhen, and this is what not to know about the do's and don'ts of university television productions. The first lesson you'll learn when coming into this class is cable wrapping. Don't ever wrap them like this. This will end up damaging the cable. Always make sure to be fully energized for any performance by bringing snacks and drinks with you on stage. Don't ever turn off any of the equipment or lights in the studio. You want to make sure that it's all ready to go for the next day. Another lesson you should know is that everyone in the class loves hearing your personal business over the comms. Always leave your mic down so everyone can hear just how crazy it was when Michael told you he loved you for the first time. Don't ever color match your cameras. They should be fine. And finally, the media in the drive gets really full sometimes, so make sure to clear up some storage by deleting files. Like, who really looks at the files from fall of 2015? Not me. So, if you're doing any of these don'ts, I hope you learned your lesson today. I'm Mei Zhen, and that's what not to know about the do's and don'ts of university television productions. Look down.
Oh, sorry, I was just taking notes. Can we get a shot of this on camera one? No?
No?
I don't know if they can see that, but yeah, thank you for that package. I did forget how to delete files. It was something I haven't done in a while since I'm not allowed to do that around here.
I'm glad that's the only thing you learned from my package.
Well,
It's really nice.
yep. Let's send it over to Ray, Ryan, and Eric in the 360 studio.
Thanks, guys. It's a new month coming up, and that means we have a whole bunch of Kpop announcements, comeback announcements flying off of Twitter's figurative shelves. Boy group Highlight will start off the month of May on the 3rd, NC Dream and Oh My Girl both slated for the 10th, with ONEUS having their comeback on the 11th. Tomorrow by Together are rumored for a comeback along with BTS. April still has some exciting comebacks in store for us, like ONF's Ugly Dance, G-Idol's Last Dance following it, and ITZY's In the Morning, along with Monster Rookie and Hyphen's Drunk Days. How they're getting away with a song called Drunk Days when not all the members are old enough to drink is slightly concerning. Anyways, if those comebacks aren't enough to break your wallet from buying 7 versions of the same album just to collect a piece of paper with an idol on it, and your sleep schedule from staying up until 5 a.m. to watch stages, then Kingdom definitely will. Mnet's competition show with 6 different boy groups trying to prove they are the kings of K-pop. Due to the nature of anything that includes fan votes, there are now an obscene amount of fan wars wreaking havoc on Stan Twitter. Please proceed with caution and do not interact. Now, over to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ray. Toy company LEGO has recently released a Winnie the Pooh themed set centering around Pooh Bear and 100 Acre Woods. Featuring beloved characters such as Pooh Bear, Piglet, Tigger, Rabbit, and Eeyore, this set would surely grab the eye of any fan of the 100 Acre Woods. However, every time I have gone onto the LEGO website to place my order on one, they are always out of stock. So I can only talk about this beloved set based on the pictures posted on the site. Featuring 1,265 pieces for a whopping $100, I have yet to understand why this set is always out of stock. The LEGO Bugatti Chiron that costs a massive $350 is always out of stock too. Like I, a loyal fan and customer, am choosing to spend my life savings on your fine products, but no, you guys happen to be out of stock. Did you guys just make one set and sell it on the same day? Anyways, 18 and up, set 2136 Winnie the Pooh might not disappoint any potential buyers this spring season. Now let's see what Eric has prepared for us today.
Thanks, Ryan. The humble Kit Kat bar has been enjoyed by millions of people for generations. Now, when you look at it, there's a very clear way to eat it, right? You break off one little stick at a time, maybe 2 if you're feeling wild. But there's a select few who refuse to abide by these very clear and defined rules. These hooligans, these animals, will eat a Kit Kat bar like it's just any other gas station candy bar. Here with us today is one such rapscallion, Wyatt Llewellyn. Now, Wyatt, why are you like this?
Pardon me. Well, have you ever heard of the great philosopher Socrates? He died because he practiced a thing he called civil disobedience. The simple premise of his philosophies is that we should question everything, just like you are questioning me now. Excuse me. Why would I do this? The simple answer is that I was curious. What if I broke the long-held rules of the Kit Kat? And so I did.
Yep, cool. I bet, Socrates is just smiling down on you for being such a little rebel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, look, I have a lot of questions right now, but the only one that's really appropriate for this show is, why do you keep doing this? Is it for attention, just for laughs? Is there a deeper reason behind it? Heaven forbid.
Yeah, well, you see, have you ever heard of Colonel Sanders? He died because he made his chicken extra crispy, just like this Kit Kat here. And as a fan of crispy chicken, I realized that if I ate a Kit Kat in its purest form, I would feel an elevated level of crispiness that I would have never gotten from breaking it into pieces. Those ridges right here, you see them? Hold on. I don't know if you could get close up, but they're right there. They're the key. They add an extra texture, maximizing the crisp with an additional 3 wafers entering my mouth.
No, that's not how he. What are you even saying?
Well, you see, have you ever heard of Isaac Newton? He died because a crisp apple fell on his head, you know, kind of like the crisp Kit Kat. Knowing this, I'm aiming to become immune to the crisp by consuming ample amounts of Kit Kat each day. And I'm always on alert for anything crisp, you know, falling from the sky and whatnot. Hey, maybe this Kit Kat might fall on my head, you know, I want to be ready.
You're speaking nonsense right now. This is what nonsense sounds like.
Well, you see, have you ever heard of, give me a moment here. Have you heard of Jesus Christ?
Nope, we're done. We're not going down that road. Nope. Thanks for coming in, I guess, Wyatt. But back to you, Ryan.
I can't believe you actually eat Kit Kat bars like that, Wyatt. How atrocious. Anyways, have you ever wanted to go get drinks downtown, but it's always just a little too far for you? Well, it looks like you're in luck. Boise State has just announced the opening of their underground bar and pub. You may be wondering where the bar is located. It will be directly under the big silver B right in the heart of campus. For access into this underground bar, there will be an elevator and administration building, an extravagant liquor waterfall decorated with music-synced LED lights is one of the most exciting features that has been released. Twice the size of Granny's, this is where you want to spend your Saturday nights. Similar to some other bars, this one will be accepting fake IDs. It is rumored to have its grand opening on the first day of classes in the fall, so be ready, Broncos. Now back to you, Ray.
I can't wait to go to this new campus bar. Hopefully it'll be just as inviting as Broadway on the Rocks. Now, they say a small spark can start a great fire, and this is especially true when we look back at history to see how we got to where we are today. Regarding pop culture, things that you would never have expected have led to interesting historical domino effects. A clear example of this is how, in 2001, Gerard Way was on a ferry and witnessed the falling of the Twin Towers. He turned to music to deal with the PTSD from the event and ended up forming the band My Chemical Romance. Their music then inspired Stephenie Meyer to write her tween vampire love story, Twilight. E.L. James then took a Twilight fan fiction that she had written and turned it into the book 50 Shades of Grey. It quickly picked up traction and then was turned into a film series starring Dakota Johnson. The popularity of the films boosted Dakota's fame as an actress, leading her to booking interviews and talk shows like The Ellen DeGeneres Show. This is where she gave the iconic line, "Actually, that's not the truth, Ellen," and pushed over one of the largest dominoes that have led to the downfall of Ellen's career. Now, let's send it back over to May and Ryland in the Spec studio.
Welcome back to Hotspot. Now, I know I'm not your usual host, but we're just gonna have to deal with that. And speaking of Zemma, just a couple weeks ago, she decided to come on the show and slander all the children in the world. Apparently they smell, they're too loud, and they never listen to Zemma. Sounds like a whole bunch of lies. Now, I don't know about you, but nothing about that sits right with me. So today I'm joined by a very special guest. Here to defend himself and all the other kids in the world, the #1 expert in all things toddler, Andrew Floan. Thanks for joining me, Andrew. Okay, so did you end up watching episode 37 of Take One, Andrew? Really? That was your favorite episode of Take One so far? Wait, you want to copy me, right? Okay, so he actually said that his favorite part in that whole episode was the part where Eric said that he likes smelling babies' heads. Would you consider yourself to be smelly or too loud? No way. So apparently Eric did indeed sniff his head on the way in. And for that, I think I'm so sorry. How did it make you feel listening to Zemma speak badly about your kind? He Googled her. he looked up her address and he tried to have a chat with her, but apparently he found nothing. And my last question would be, what would you have to say to Zemma if she were here right now?
I gotta say now.
And Andrew, you cannot be saying that on air. Whoever's editing this, could you please make sure to cut that out? And that's all the time we have for today's Hotspot. Zemma, if you're watching, I hope this really made you think carefully about what you had to say. Thank you, Andrew, for joining me. And now let's see what Emma has for us with her rant.
Hey guys, this is really weird being in front of the camera and channeling my inner Ben. And you all know I've been around since the beginning of Take One, and after a few years of directing and producing a television show, you learn a thing or two about how to manage a cast and crew. Now that I'm graduating, I realize it's time for me to take the opportunity to tell you guys how much you all piss me off. Crew, for the most part, knows what they're doing, except for the occasional TD cutting to the wrong camera or not miking the talent correctly. But let me tell you, I've never, in my 3 years of producing, had a group of talent as terrible as this one. Where to begin a roast? I know. Ben Luca. Ben seems like a funny guy, but as soon as you get to know him, he only talks to you if he really needs you to do something for him. He never shows up on time, even to his own show, and I don't know if that's because he drives a minivan that's literally falling apart or he just doesn't know how to read a clock. He's notorious for turning into scripts last minute and gives about 47% of his effort to anything he does. Plus, he's not as funny as he thinks he is. Eric Ryan, though, he's funny looking. The only thing he knows how to do is pretend he's mad about something and then backpedals on anything negative he said about anyone. Stand your ground, kid. Speak your mind. Eric is also pretty unreliable. He's canceled plans because he's homework at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night, and then he wants to take a nap. Then just doesn't show up to class for a week, and because he wants to go snowboarding? Good luck in the real world, kid. Speaking of always missing class, Ryan Seekert has the immune system of a 3-day-old baby. He's now had COVID twice and mono within the same year. He's always sick, and I'm just now starting to realize why. Hey, Ryan, if you didn't go to the bars every weekend and then kiss whoever was giving you attention, maybe you wouldn't get as sick as often as you do. I know you think you're a cool guy and all, but you're barely a pretty face, and you're not all there. In fact, a lot of our talent isn't all there. Jenna can attest to that. Hold on, my PowerPoint isn't working. Jenna can attest to that. She's on the Bronco mainline dance team at Boise State, and if you forget, she won't hesitate to remind you. Jenna only writes about sports on her show, and she says it's because she wants to be a sideline reporter, but I think her boyfriend, the quarterback, really writes them all for her because she's told me herself she can't wait to be a trophy wife. She's made like 3 viral TikToks, and that's about all she has to show for herself. Oh yeah, and did I mention she went to Daytona for Florida for a dance competition because she's on the Bronco mainline. Madeline, Michaela, Jordan, I tried really hard to write something mean about you guys, but you honestly are just always stunting on us, and I didn't really know what to write, so, you know. Marcos, for the last time, stop wearing your glasses on camera. The audience doesn't need to see the teleprompters in the reflection. Also, we know your story's gonna be late. Lastly, Zemma, sorry. I don't know how your friends started calling you that. There's absolutely no Z in your name. Even though you usually just sit on your phone during class, you're pretty great on camera when you want to be. Anytime you don't want to be here, you make sure we all know it. And every time a 117 student meets you, they ask me if you hate them or if you're just there's a kid here, never mind. Anyway, I usually have to resort to telling people that no, she's not. She's just always has RBF. Okay, I think I got everyone. Thanks all you guys for coming up here and doing this every week, though. I don't think I could do such simple tasks and feel such a sense of accomplishment. So props to you guys. I don't know how I got roped into UTP for 7 semesters, but I sure am glad to be finally done in a week. Really, I'm mainly excited that I don't have to babysit Nathan Snyder anymore. I'm like an effing secretary, making sure he eats more than a bag of chips a day and starts and ends class on time. Then you tell me I've been doing everything you asked me to do for 3 years, and then I have to write my own letter of recommendation? Yeah, okay. Well, you know what I think? Nathan, you're...
Whoa, Irma.
Easy over there.
You're really one to talk, aren't you? Considering the only things that you do in this class are show people TikToks that are only somewhat funny and print papers, but half the time you forget anyway.
Hey, Emma, Maybe if you weren't always being the teacher's pet, you'd have the time to do those other things.
All right, well, I thought we were friends, but I guess not. That's all the time we have for today. I'm Emma Adams.
I'm Rylan Dawson.
And I'm May Zen. Thanks to all the crew and writers for this episode. We'll see you next time on Fake One.
Welcome to Take One.